So Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are both being released within the next 2 years, and a Halloween saga, particularly the saga between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, is finally going to come to an end. But a lot of people are asking the question, where can the Halloween franchise go next? Hey there guys, and welcome back to Dino Reviews. So with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends being released within the next 2 years, the Halloween series is slowly coming to an end. But a lot of people have been asking the question, where can the franchise go next? I wanted to make this video and just kind of go through some of my own points where I'd like to see the franchise go and some ideas that I hope they do look into. Point number one is the obvious one: to reboot the franchise. When you look at Michael Myers, he is pretty much up there with Dracula, Wolfman, the Invisible Man and Frankenstein, that you can constantly reinterpret his character and bring him back year after year. These characters have been around for decades and we've gotten countless stories and different versions of each of their characters. I do think we can do the same with Michael Myers and the Halloween series itself. Dr. Loomis, he's always been this kind of Van Helsing type character, so I do think if you want you can keep that character there, but you can still get rid of characters like Laurie Strode and even Haddonfield. None of that is really synonymous with Michael Myers and what his character is all about. What's great about Michael Myers is he's kind of this blank canvas of a character. At his essence, he is the shape, he's the boogeyman. He's this character that really goes through the streets of Haddonfield and murders babysitters in the dead of night. He's a silent killer that doesn't have a lot of bloodshed, he doesn't have a lot of brutality, and I think going back to the roots of the character could be the best way to reboot the entire franchise. You look at Halloween Kills and even Halloween Ends, and a lot of it is gore, blood and brutality that they're going for. Whereas if you look at the 1978 classic, instead it was built around suspense and really Michael being kept in the darkness for most of the movie. So I do think there's an option there to go back to that original character and just reboot the series for a modern era. Point number two is wrapping up original storylines. So if you look at the Halloween franchise, of course it's pretty much famous for having multiple different timelines and really not having a lot of storylines wrapped up throughout the entire series. One in particular is Danielle Harris's character of Jamie Lloyd. Although her character is definitely killed off in Halloween 6, the fact that we didn't get Danielle Harris has never really sat well with a lot of fans. At the same time, when you look at the amount of short films, particularly in the horror genre, that has been getting released over the last few years, short films like the Friday the 13th series, Black Christmas, and Nightmare on Elm Street and Charles, there's a huge caliber going to these movies lately where they're actually wrapping up a lot of original character storylines. Tommy Jarvis came back for the Friday the 13th fan films, and so far his storyline is getting wrapped up movie by movie. I do think there is definitely an opportunity for Danielle Harris and even Ellie Cornell as Rachel to come back to the series and maybe give us a true sequel to Halloween 4 or Halloween 5. There's a lot of opportunity there. I think for Danielle Harris in particular, her character is the biggest one fans want to see, but you could also delve into the original Torn storyline if the directors out there wanted to approach that. Again, I don't think we will get a cinema release of any of these characters in particular, but there is definitely an opportunity when we look at the amount of short films that has been getting released over the last few years, and honestly just how good they've actually been. Point number three, bring the Halloween series to television. If you look at the last decade, at the amount of horror properties that have actually transferred quite well over to TV, there is some room there for Halloween. I think Halloween in particular would actually do really well as a television series. You could definitely expand the story of Michael Myers, but you could delve into a lot of the parts we've actually missed from the movies. One in particular would be to delve into Smith's Grove and the relationship between Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers. You could get a lot more screen time for both of those characters if you did the story on TV. As well as that, if you want, you could completely reboot the series to be in modern times or go all the way back to 1978. You could have Laurie Strode and the town of Haddonfield, or else you go right back to Michael when he was a 6-year-old boy. There's a lot of story there to really sink your teeth into, and I do think having a long format such as TV would be a great way to look into the story and see what actually happened with Michael Myers. You could go through the entire Myers family and actually see the events that led up to Judith's death and skip ahead to Smith's Grove after that. I think there's a lot of opportunity there for the series in particular if that's the avenue they wanted to go down. You look at Bates Motel, you look at Hannibal, you look at Ash vs Evil Dead. There's a lot of great series out there that really kind of dissected our characters and fleshed them out just a little bit more. I do think, honestly, if I had to pick one of the options on this list, Halloween going to TV would be my first pick. My number 4 is to revisit the anthology format. Again, looking back at the original series itself, when we got Halloween 2, that was really meant to be the end of Michael Myers, and instead the idea was that every single year we get a new anthology format with a new storyline every single year. If you look at movies like Saw or Paranormal Activity, there is definitely an audience today that will go back and see a new Halloween movie every single year. And I do think an anthology could actually work for the series. With series like American Horror Story doing so well in the ratings over the last decade, I do think there is definitely an audience for that type of movie series. There's also a huge amount of horror directors right now in James Wan, in Eli Roth, that could actually come on board and make their own movies. You could bring back John Carpenter to give a new modern take on where he'd like to see the Halloween franchise go. I think the anthology format has definitely been talked about a lot, and because it failed for sure with Season of the Witch, they've completely stayed away from that. But if Michael Myers has honestly ran out of steam, if people don't want to see the character past Halloween Ends, maybe looking into an anthology might be the route to go. Finally, the last option is to let the franchise die. Although I absolutely love the series itself, and as I said, I do see Michael Myers as almost a Dracula type character that you could constantly bring back every 10 years. The thing is, over the last 20 years in particular, we haven't had any more huge slasher movies, and I do think a lot of that is because any new slashers are going to instantly be judged against Jason, Freddy and Michael. So I do think kind of leaving way for a new slew of slasher movies to come by could be an opportunity, but it is up to Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends honestly to have that impact, to let those slashers come on board. We have a lot more revitalized slashers coming in the near future with Candyman and Ghostface, but we still don't have any new fresh blood. So maybe it is time just to let Michael Myers and the Halloween series rest and give us some new blood overall. As always guys, remember that is just my views on where I personally would like to see the Halloween franchise go. Remember guys, you can of course let me know your thoughts. Where would you like to see the Halloween series in a decade from now? Where would you like to see the next version of Michael Myers? Remember guys, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up if you can. You can of course subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more videos like this one, click any of those links down below, and I'll see you in the next one.